Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are live rolling right now on rumble.com/Kyle Seraphin. Yeah, we're doing a little bit softer right now. Some of you guys probably saw this. We've got our man Mark Naughton, and he is rolling on the street. He is moving in Washington, D.C. Hey, Mark, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I hear you fine. How's the night out there? What's the temperature like?
Super. It's actually beautiful. I might be slightly overdressed, but no winds. It's calm. It's cool. I'm probably at about 700 Pennsylvania Avenue, heading towards the Capitol.
Yes.
And I can see it from here. Probably, I don't know, probably about a half mile.
Can you see the clowns doing the shenanigans out there yet?
Not yet. No clowns yet. But I'm still a little far out.
All right. Well, we will keep our eyes on that. Mark's going to keep moving on. Folks, I used to do this State of the Union every single year. I used to walk on foot with the types that were doing the protesters, particularly the ones there. That looks like you've got some stuff going on. I see some lights now.
Yeah, I'll just have to flip the camera around whenever that time is.
Yeah, fair enough.
Flip it around.
So I used to do this thing, man. I used to always go out there and mingle in the crowd. There's going to be feds out there tonight. What do you think about mingling and brushing elbows with some of these Fed surveillance guys, Mr. Naughton?
Well, I don't want to put any feds in danger. But if I can see some, if it makes sense, I'll point them out. So, but it's gonna have to make sense. I don't want to go hunting for them, so to speak, and because if they're doing it right, I shouldn't find them, right? So.
That's correct. We shouldn't see them, shouldn't be able to find them unless they want to be found. That's the thought. All right, where are we looking at right now? Let me look at you on the map here and take a look, folks. We're getting Mark kind of vectored in. It looks like you're at the cross section coming up. You're probably only another block or two away, and those lights we're seeing out there. Is there stuff? Yeah, why don't you flip the camera around in front of you and let's see what we got.
Yeah, it's time to do that.
Can you tell?
I'm seeing myself here. Let me see.
Ooh, Mark, you just froze on me.
Okay, I'm here.
Yep, now you're back. All right, what are we trying to? We're going to spin around.
Back, dual camera.
There we go.
And okay.
All right, I see lights out in front of you. That's up in front, so that's where the nonsense should be.
Right. It's usually a good indicator.
Yeah.
So if you can look in the distance, you can see the Capitol.
We can see the Capitol. There it is. Yeah, what a ugly city mixed with a couple of really nice looking buildings, huh?
It is wild. You can tell everything that's modern is just this horrible looking square concrete, and I mean it's not even like Art Deco style like the Empire State Building, but like actual boring, cheap, bureaucratic engineering, just horrific.
Yeah.
And then the old buildings are actually absolutely stunning. So it's amazing. Signs of the times, I guess.
I suppose it is. Folks, we're going to have Mark just kind of give us the report. As you can start seeing here on the screen, we're split, and there's some of the patrol cars with their lights on, and they have been engaging in, there's some folks that are sitting in the street, apparently, and they are really mad at Joe Biden because Hamas. Well, we're going to see if we can, there's a scooter rider. That was a pilot that was passing you right there.
Right.
I can't tell you how many hours I spent walking on these stupid streets at night when it was cold. I'm glad that you're not cold right now.
No. This guy's doing okay too. This is our second tent that I've just passed. So right here on the Pennsylvania Avenue.
That's what you expect to see at the capital of the most powerful nation in the world, isn't it?
Right.
Just dudes racking out in the middle of the sidewalk. Why not? All right, what is this barricade looking like?
So, let me see. If we look over here, it's like a PBA meeting. Just trying to figure out where their contract is at, who's up for promotion, that sort of thing. So, how many years each guy has, when they bought back their military time, how many divorces, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
typical
you're not usually on this shift. What do you normally work?
Right. Did they order you in? You knew this was coming. you know,
Every
but
year, always the
we,
same.
we are approaching a crowd. So
Can you hear them? Is there a dull
not
roar
yet.
of the crowd yet?
Let me take an earpiece out. Let's hear.
Oh,
I can. Once I take the earpiece out, yeah.
You know what? You're going to hear them with the earpiece in a second, too, because we're starting to hear them coming in. They sound like they had enough time to marinate sitting there in the middle of the street, so that's pretty exciting. We should actually see some interesting civic engagement with their...
Yeah, this is... We're gonna find it right now.
Oh, what a clown fest we live in, huh? Are we mad at these guys for... All right, and our goal is going to be to have some, valuable engagement where someone shares, not in a megaphone in your face, hopefully.
Right. Well, we'll have time for that. Let's see.
Behind me are people putting their bodies on the line because enough is enough.
Do you believe the enough is enough situation?
Let's see.
All right, so and as you're getting yourself kind of situated, folks, we're here streaming live on Rumble. We're streaming live on Twitter, also known as X, and you guys can follow Mark at Mark Naughton, the number 9.
Are out of touch with the masses in this country.
And we're going to find out what these characters are about. Let's get in close.
We're here because we need an immediate and permanent ceasefire. We're here because we need an immediate stop to the army in support of the genocidal state of Israel. We need to stop militarizing our communities, both here and on the border. No cop city, no cop state. President Biden's talking about building a port to get aid into Gaza, but the simple formula is stop funding the occupation and the genocide, and Palestinians will build our own damn port.
He doesn't sound Palestinian.
We need precision-guided policies, not precision-guided munitions targeting innocent civilians in Gaza. President Biden, do your damn job. Feed, don't starve. House, not bomb. Provide health care, don't harm. And spread love, not hate. Free Palestine. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Now, before I leave you, I want you to know that I believe in this movement because of every single one of these people out here. So you're going to hear us when I tell you that you all are going to repeat after me. I believe that we. I believe that we will win. 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 I believe that we will win.
Yeah.
Mark, how's our news coverage looking like? I see a couple of members of the media. What's the media presence?
Yeah, so let's check it out. I feel bad. I was ignoring his taps on my elbow. I apologize, but I was trashing his shot. So here's some more media. Right up front.
Your mic is a little weak right now. I don't know if it's not on you.
Let me check on it.
Yeah, it's mostly because of the loud audio that's around you, I'm sure.
Okay, so just relocate it.
Would you say that we got more protesters than we do? Are there more protesters than media this time?
So, yes.
Good.
But the media here is solid. That's solid. They're all up here on the front lines, getting their front line footage. So in my experience, once these things go local, that's when the mainstream kind of leaves.
That checks.
But I'm gonna go up here in a minute and show an elevated view, so we can see what happens.
Okay, I love it. So, folks, this is outside the United States Capitol, Washington, D.C. What you're seeing is an obstruction on Pennsylvania Avenue. pretty excited people. This is Penn Avenue, roughly at 3rd Street Northwest. It is just to the north and the west of the National. It's like right on the end of the National Mall, right as it goes into the reflecting pool before the Capitol. And Mark is about to get us a nice high view because we got a nice good stick to get up there. So you guys will see something you're not going to see other people doing. This lady has been yelling all day. She's no longer strong. That's all right. Now, if you guys are listening to us or joining us either on Rumble or on X right now, it took us a little bit longer than we wanted to get set up, but we had to find parking in Washington, D.C., and Mark traveled all the way in from Philly, so that's good news that we're able to come in here and see these people demanding disarming Israel. That sounds good. Stop arming Israel. There we go. That's the banner there. I'll go a little bigger shot. Let me tell you, folks, I've been to a bunch of these. This is the most rowdy that I've seen. I went to all the Trump ones. There were always a couple of hecklers outside. They were always pissy, but they never got rowdy. This is a lot more rowdy than that.
Down with occupation. Up with liberation. Down with occupation. Up with liberation.
I want to check the audio.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Hold on. I want to check it with and make sure. Take the iPhone. Okay. Is this better?
Oh, it just got louder.
All right. Is it better? Can you hear me better?
I can hear you great. Yep.
Okay. So operator error. Now I know it has. You can select 2 microphones, and I guess the iPhone one takes precedence. So.
Got it.
So that's fixed.
People want to see fire.
So, oh look, it's our friend again. Ready?
Is this our girl?
Here she is. Yeah.
Is it Caden?
Look, no, it's our little tiny professional hate Trump protester from New York.
Oh, good.
Yeah. That's so funny. She's got the same signs, her black and white theme, but.
So she's gone from angry about same anger. She's the hate Trump plus hate Biden
Yes.
about.
Yes. And she doesn't let anyone talk to me. So I wonder if that same will be extended.
Biden, you're a liar.
Yeah, that high shot was really good.
All right, let me go up again.
Let's do it.
All right, let me go up again.
Biden, you're a liar. People want to cease fire. People want to cease fire. Stop the Palestine will be free. Gaza, you make us proud. Gaza, you make us proud. We are here and we are loud.
They are loud, aren't they?
Gaza, you make us proud.
Not the loudest, but they're.
We are here.
They're here and they're loud, Mark. We got to agree with them when they're right.
Free Palestine. Free Palestine.
So this is nothing compared to the size of the numbers. What I would say is maybe. Oh, was it January? January was the big. Yes, the one that ended up at the White House.
Yeah.
They tried to knock the fence down. That was.
Well, the night is still young.
Right. Oh, the night is definitely young. But if I look at this crowd, the shirt-wearing versions largely I don't see as fence breakers.
Okay.
But that's at large.
Free Palestine.
All right, so supposedly the State of the Union was supposed to start 5 minutes ago, but they're behind schedule. So no big deal there. And if necessary, Mark, what we'll do is we'll mute you and you can show the crazy videos, and we'll play just the audio and the small video, kind of picture-in-picture of Biden doing this thing.
Right. And I'll tell you this too, which is pretty funny. So obviously, this rig we are using is getting some attention.
And why is that?
Well, because it's like 20 feet in the air. So, and it gets even better because as the everyone's looking at it, but as the media looks at it, they look at me, and it appears as though I'm talking to myself.
That's the best part. Yeah.
It just keeps getting better.
That's a good time. So, folks, we got a custom rig that we built up, and nobody knows what to do with what it is. But you can tell it's a nice, clean picture here, and that's pretty fun.
If you could see these faces of the people looking at me and the media looking at me, Kyle, you would love it.
You may have to bring it down and just do like a little coverage of these folks.
Yeah. All right, you want another media?
Yeah, we can do another media run. Someone mentioned that this trans person has a wonderful singing voice.
It's that rare octave that you can only get with many.
You're right. It's a
different levels of.
It's kind of a mid key, isn't it?
All right, so let me bring us down to normal.
Okay. So we're bringing this down out of the sky here. And let's see what we got going on. Did they say they're going to go to Gaza and swim?
Let Gaza live.
Yeah, let them live. Yeah, we can get behind that.
So let's do. Photographers, they always got to get low.
Okay.
So
got to make it look more dramatic. Catch the Capitol in the background.
This gentleman, he's also running a stick.
Okay.
So. Yep. All right.
He says hello. We say hello to him as well.
Yes. Yep. So we got this gentleman and this correspondent coming in.
Okay. They're from Chinese.
Right. And yes, getting the shot. Angle is everything. Pushing the people out.
Just on a small handy. Good.
Yep. It's definitely good when you're going international,
Yeah. Yeah, the good news is that we get that high angle. We can actually see how few people are actually making this noise. Whereas
here's the footprint of the gear.
Wow. Flip phone.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I just got a rig compliment.
Yeah.
So I'm live on Rumble right now. Okay, wait.
And Twitter.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is true or not, Mark, but the Twitter claims we've got 1,700.
Oh, that's great. That's really great.
I don't know if that's a total viewer count so far or if that's live views, but it says live. So, meh. Very cool.
So
What is this lady yelling about? She sounds so mad.
They call that Espanol.
Yeah, what is she doing in the Espanol, though? Oh, she's so mad at the United States. Does she know where she is? She's in Washington, D.C.
This is interesting. It looks like
Can you request a translación?
We are here to say ceasefire.
Oh, she's going to. Good.
Ceasefire now.
Yeah, she's part of the rare Spanish Palestinian contingent.
Now. We need President Joe Biden.
I thought she was going to say Trump.
From this militarized budget, this budget that is killing people in Palestine, around the world, in the Sudan, in the Congo, in Venezuela, in the Americas.
It's getting dramatic then.
Communities, what's happening to black communities, to indigenous communities, to migrants on the border.
You wouldn't think that these all have the same things in common, but I guess that's what Marxism does, huh?
To the budget.
All right, let's get up high and see some things again. That was great. Thanks for showing us the media. I very much enjoyed the tiny Asian man. That was my favorite part, just so you know.
To life.
Yeah, let me.
You're saying yes
so look,
to
so
investing
here
in
you
our
got
communities.
stick
We are
guy, but he's
saying
got to get
yes
up there.
to dignity and yes to Palestinians being free.
He's like, why are you getting on my
So
shoulder
when
there,
we
bro?
say- Viva Palestina! So when we say,
let me cut the visual for just a second because I think I zoomed in.
I might be able to zoom you out. Hold on. I can zoom you out. I got you, Mark. Here.
Oh wow, great. That's some, okay. All right,
I got
so
you.
go up again?
Yeah, go ahead and let's get high.
President Biden, you are a liar. We demand a ceasefire.
That's what they demand. All
What do
right.
we demand?
What do we want?
What do we demand? Ceasefire.
They weren't ready for that one yet. Caught them off guard.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
The fellow media is definitely interested.
They're like,
In
look
your
at this guy.
contraption.
He just went way up.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
Yeah.
Ceasefire now! 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 Ceasefire now!
All right.
Ceasefire now!
We're gonna take the volume down on your end for just a second here, Mark, because she's getting too frantic for me. I can only handle so much franticness. So, folks, what you're seeing. Oh, good. You got a new speaker. Okay, so we've got a protest that has developed. It is on the west side of the United States Capitol building, just before Joe Biden supposedly is going to begin the State of the Union. It's possible that he is not going to begin it because he's too tired and it's past his bedtime, so that's always a real possibility. They are on Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest and roughly 3rd Street Northwest. That's where we are seeing them kind of stationed up in front of. And it's on the north side of the National Mall as it sort of ends at the reflecting pool where the U.S. Capitol is. So that's that's the location and that is the situation. And there's a big Palestinian flag. I wonder if somebody wants to come knock a donut over that flag. That would be an interesting kind of technique. In any case, we're showing you the media, we're showing you the law enforcement, and now we are on the backside, looks like, kind of showing you. It's not a very big protest. It's enough people to block the streets, but that's only because it's Washington, D.C., and it's very easy for them to just kind of lay down and allow this to happen. You're seeing the bike cops over here in the corner that have stepped in, and they are going to create a pretty good barricade of human beings between these folks and the U.S. Capitol so they don't go and do an M7, not to be confused with the J6. But that being said, I'm going to turn the volume up. We'll go back and listen to what these characters are saying. And you are watching Mark Naughton. You can find him on Twitter at MarkNaughton9. If you're not following Mark, then you're missing out on this and other things that we get together and do. He's got some great individual footage. Follow Mark Naughton at Mark Naughton, the number 9. If any of you guys are thinking like, hey, who pays for all this stuff? It's me and Mark out of our pocket. If you want to support Mark, we're gonna make sure that he's not destitute from doing these drives down. He had to drive all the way down from Jersey. You guys are more than welcome to support him indirectly. And anybody who's leaving any Rumble rants or anything like that, that's going to all go to Mark today. So anything from the live stream is going to support Mark. We appreciate it. If you guys want to join up and support the channel, you can always do that by subscribing. Very easy on Rumble. Click the follow button on your PC. Click the subscribe button. It's $5 a month. They don't take a single penny out of it. Rumble gives that all directly to us, which is really cool. So here you go. We're going to go back. I'm going to turn the volume up. We'll listen to what these characters have to say. And Mark, we're going back so you can. We're going to turn the volume up.
Okay. I appreciate that, Kyle. Yeah, we're going to get a little closer. I'm back with the media, which is, you know, pretty much front dead center with the optics of the Capitol.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
We are here today because we are absolutely disgusted.
How's this audio?
Yeah, it sounds great. I mean, it sounds terrible, but great.
If he had the political will, President Biden could end this genocide today. The majority of Americans and the rest of the world demand a ceasefire, and we demand an end to aid to Israel. This is money that should be used on affordable housing, on affordable health care, on robust education. Instead, the Biden administration chooses to fund death. And you can claim that you're horrified by what you see as much as you like. But as long as you continue to fund genocide, those concerns are nothing but empty words. We call that Hekifaldi.
What do they call it? Hekifaldi?
So how many Palestinian deaths?
Yeah, Hekifaldi.
Oh, okay. I hate Hekifaldi. That's my least favorite thing.
50,000, 100,000. The Biden administration is the genocide administration. And genocide is the highest
illuminated this building.
Yeah, I see this. So, Mark, we had Joe Dirte in our live chat over on Rumble, and he's throwing $25 down the line saying, these folks need Jesus. Seems true to me. What do you think? Is there an assessment on the need for Jesus in this crowd?
Well, interesting, because if you look right by the, let me see if I can orient this from up top. If you can look at the banner where the B is, there is a well, a person with a Catholic sort of, you know, like a Catholic priest wears.
Oh, good. Well, he's wearing that looks like a lady. That's an Episcopal, is what that is. That's a Roman collar that's being abused.
Will be liberated.
It's not complicated. Gaza will be liberated.
Gaza will be liberated, huh? It just might be that it's owned by the Israelis at the end.
Not complicated.
So just interesting thing. My earpieces, I'm sorry to hear it just a heads up.
Yeah, you're harder to hear right now just because you're getting drowned out.
That's probably what it is, huh?
Yes, indeed.
All right, when I say people,
What does
you
that say?
say power, people.
Food,
People,
not something.
People, power, people.
Food, not F-35.
Oh, I like F-35s way better. I would skip a few meals for that.
People.
I don't know if there's been any usage of F-35s.
When I say people, you say power, people.
In this conflict.
Yeah, you may need to put that mic all the way right up to your face. They're so loud.
What's happening right now is across the country.
Okay.
Oh, that's way better. Now we can hear you.
People are watching on CNN.
All right.
They're watching on ABC.
People are not watching on CNN. They're watching on rumble.com/Kyle Seraphin.
For months, I've been trying to suppress the fact that the population of the United States, the
So
overwhelming
let me check. What
majority
time is it?
for what?
It
It's from
is,
ceasefire.
wow, it's after 9.
Yep.
It's for what?
So President Biden was supposed to start, I mean, they
Yeah,
said
we're-
9.
Yeah, so the live feed coming out of the White House is not up yet. I'm watching it right now, and it's in the corner. It should update. It says we'll begin shortly, but they haven't begun, so be it. Do we think this is a man or a lady with this hoarse voice?
Right? Thousands
Judging
and
by
thousands
the,
and thousands of people,
Female.
hundreds of thousands, maybe even
The rear
millions
ends, I
right
would say female.
Female,
now, are
Roger.
with us in the streets.
That's not where I would have
Over
gone for the
200
judgment, but
of
I
us
can
have
appreciate
blocked.
that.
I mean, look behind you. Look at that. Look at
The chips
that.
on food.
Look at this. Right? We came here to do exactly what we sought to do,
Block
which is to
traffic
say that the people
In a street
have
that's
the
already
power.
blocked
in a
off.
street that was
And the
already
people
shut down.
are going to determine what happens in this scenario, right? And the people are not going to rest
until there is an immediate and full ceasefire, until Palestine is free.
So this
until
crowd
we
is
stop
significant.
sending
It's not even
dollars
comparable
to bomb
Yeah.
to
homes and
the protest
schools
in
and bakeries
January
and
that ended up
hospitals.
at the White
We are
House.
not gonna
This is
stop,
not. It's
right? We are not going
Should we, Mark? Should we go to the riotometer?
And those trillions
Yeah,
of
I think it's time.
dollars
All right,
we need
folks,
to
we're
go.
gonna get Mark
should
Naughton,
be going
Mark
towards
Naughton
the
9 on
rebuilding of
Twitter,
Palestine.
Mark Naughton
Should
9
be going
on
towards a free future for
YouTube. We're gonna get a
Palestinian
measure
people,
here
for
that
all
we've got an
people
official
everywhere suffering
calculation.
under
Go ahead and
occupation,
let me know
under
what the riot
genocide,
meter
under
looks
war,
like to
under
you.
militarism. All right, we did this.
Parliament.
Y'all feel it?
Okay, so it's gonna be a 1.
We did
And,
this, we joined millions of people around
There we
the
go.
world
It's a
who are
1.
saying,
There's the 1
"We
right
are
there set up at the
unstoppable.
British
Another
Parliament.
world is possible.
That is not-
right? We
is
are
not
unstoppable.
particularly-
Another world is possible.
Yeah, it's settling right there
are
on British
unstoppable.
Parliament. They don't
Another
seem
world is
unstoppable,
possible.
actually.
We are unstoppable.
I do not, with the crowd of this size, I see no capabilities.
Not likely to escalate.
We'll have to see. I don't know if they're more serious demonstrators or like a quick reactionary force and stayed somewhere else. But what I'm watching here is this does not look like we could see M7. Not with this organization.
Right. All right. And the M7 is our code for the next insurrection, which would escalate beyond the British parliamentary system.
More 7.
All right. So the question comes in from the live chat, and I think it's a good one. Can you discuss the smell of the crowd? Is it fragrant or are they fresh?
Well, I mean, the challenge with that is I'm a little under the weather. Yeah, the challenge with that is I'm slightly under the weather, Kyle.
Right. So you've got a little bit of a nose thing going on right now. Is that correct? You're kind of fighting like a upper respiratory tract infection?
That's correct. So in that regard, I just can't provide any information.
We had just a kind of an easy setup there, but folks, one of our sponsors is Contingency Medical. I need to get one out to Mark, obviously. He could have been pre-dosing himself right now. He told me this yesterday, that he was starting to feel kind of lousy. If you guys want to go to contingencymedical.com, promo code Kyle, save yourself $10. Get yourself a pack of antibiotics so you don't get stuck. I don't know, not smelling a protest doesn't seem like the worst thing in the world. I'm not mad about that, dude. Let's just agree with that. But sure enough, there you are, unable to smell, so you can't give us the information that people are looking for. The chat even asked, did you have your contingency medical ready? And the answer, of course, is no yet. So.
Right. So that is, that's a limb factor on my part, as I didn't dose up and didn't get ready. So.
Well, we got a little bit of a weigh-in coming in from the chat. This is from DirtDoll10 saying, I'm an empathic smeller, and they're aromatic. So you're probably better off. Over on Twitter, we've got MinWild1 saying that they smell like piss and diapers. So that's also a real possibility. You want to weigh that based on what you're seeing?
Right. So I think it's important to note right now that the sitting protesters have come to their feet. Also, the flag, you can probably see better than I can, but it appears as though the flag is now off of the ground as well.
Yeah, they're doing a little bit of a movement there. This is usually when they start making that flag go mobile.
Right, fists are going up.
Wonderful.
It looks like the media is also taking note of this. I want to show you this. This is this man's stick.
That's not bad.
No, it's not bad. And okay. We're gonna have a stick measuring. Hold on.
He's gonna measure stick. We're gonna get above him and check out his stick above him.
There we go.
We have the highest stick. We have the longest stick on the street.
Our stick is bigger.
Yeah. If only we had Sean Farish here, he would also let us know that no one's stick is bigger than our stick on this street.
And I can, if I attach more bits, I can even go higher, but let's not overkill him.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let me ask you a question. Are they taking any requests in the singing?
I'm not sure, but it's I gotta say, this song is better than other ones I've listened to.
It's not good though. Could we agree that it's not good?
we can, but I don't mind the change of pace.
Ask them if they would give us like a like kind of a crowd favorite, the hey hey ho ho thing, maybe.
Right.
I don't want you to get arrested the way they went after the January 6th folks and actually have to like start the chant. So be careful about that.
But it looks like they are preparing their banner system. You guys getting this?
Yeah, it looks like it's getting ready to go mobile.
Right. So let me.
You want to get a numbers count? From what I'm seeing, I would say maybe 50, maybe 80 people tops.
Oh, much more than that.
Oh, is it more?
Yeah, much more than that. I would actually.
The Twitter estimates were like 200-300. Does that sound more close?
Yeah. Yes, I think that is. I think that's not bad. I was going to say 300.
Okay, fair enough. Look how high we are compared to everybody else. This
Mr. Speaker, the President's Cabinet.
All right, so we're now going to get the we're going to get the sound from. Yeah, now we're going to see the president talk. So, Mark, I'm going to actually turn you down and turn the song off. We're going to listen to the State of the Union as they get started.
Okay, do your thing, guys.
There was a request.
Thanks for supporting.
Yeah, Cookie requested that you tase some of them. We're going to go to silent mode right now. No tasing. All right, I'm muting you. All right, folks, you should be able to hear this now, too. Or maybe that was a little bit premature because they don't seem like they're actually ready. Open this little visibility up a little bit. There we go. Oh, I like that. State of delusion was the claim that we're getting at. Okay, so it looks like we got our protesters are thinking about getting mobile, and maybe this old guy is going to come walking in and give us a little talk. He did get lost en route and potentially needed a little bit higher dose of the Adderall or whatever it is they do to juice him up to get him going. And I'm going to pull this thing. Actually, we're going to make this just a little bit bigger for now, folks. So let me just make this bigger while we're looking what we're missing out on at the actual Capitol. This is the joint session of Congress. We're seeing him sort of slowly work his way through like a senior citizen. There's Mayorkas. There's Buttigieg. Kind of creeping in. It's the best of the worst. You know what we might do to make this bigger is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that lady. I don't really care. You guys are going to miss out on the sign language, so if you're looking for sign language, find another feed. And here they go. Got more cheers coming in. And we're waiting for that Sergeant at Arms to sound off with his massive excitement. Which will be that, ladies and gentlemen, the president thing. Here we go, kind of cleaning up our little shot here. Until we hear more, let's go down and kind of see what Mark's got showing for us. No mobility yet. We just have the raised Palestinian flag. Whatever that's about. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to bring back in the Palestinians, see if they're singing. Just 'cause I'm curious. Okay, they lost a little bit of juice on that, didn't they?
Till we get free. We get free. Till we get free.
So the song is sort of like a Children of the World vibe to it.
Yeah, We Are the World.
Yeah, We Are the World.
Had a little bit of protesting. People are not thrilled about hearing more of the song, but I brought it back anyway because I want to know. It's more interesting than listen to old people greet each other at the speed that old people greet each other.
Right.
which is not an impressive speed, as you probably are. It's kind of a call and response, this crappy song, you know?
Right. Yes.
And are we losing any from the pro-Palestine crowd, or is it gaining any, or is it just static at this far size-wise?
Well, to be honest with you, the flag is definitely obstructing my view, so you guys can have a better view than me right now.
Yeah, you may want to back off just to see what you can get. We got such a good look, but yeah, I see they're all underneath that flag. Looks like there's dozens and dozens of people under the flag. What a weird thing to do.
Right. Right. Do you want me to get under the flag? Do you want to see that?
No,
see what it's like?
I don't want to see them. I don't want you to accidentally smell them either.
That's okay. I can just tell you, it kind of reminds me of. You used to play that parachute game?
Yeah, this looks like parachute. That's what this looks
Parachute, right. I wonder if we had a foam ball, and if we tossed it, would the reflex be to shake the flag and get the ball moving?
They might be able to, send it up in the air, kind of like the beach ball game.
Right.
They could probably use, that'd be a good spirit booster. I'm still watching over here. I don't see Biden coming in yet. There's still a lot of movement at the Capitol in the actual chambers. So we're just eyeballing these characters.
So here's some peripheral crowd.
Yeah. Now that lady's giving an interview of some kind.
Right. We can do that. If
That guy's got a good mustache. I would want to hear what he has to say more than anybody else. The mustache guy. But probably we're hearing the gavel, so let's go ahead and mute you again and let's go back.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
Yeah, I'm trying to adjust the audio. They're obviously not well tuned yet, so we're gonna put this speech up here in the corner. We'll see how much we'll see. There he is. Look at that old guy. He looks sad. There's Chuck Schumer. So there it is, folks. Some of the worst coming on in. He's not really getting up to the podium very quickly. He's in no hurry for a guy that's 20 minutes late. Which is a choice, I suppose. Now he's whispering secrets. Make sure I'm out of here by 10. Okay. But have we met before? Yep. I don't know if it's fashionably late to show up 20 minutes to your own speech that was scheduled months in advance. I think it's more likely what Chris just said in the live chat, which is that he doesn't know where he is. He's not 100% sure which direction he's going. And here's the thing, folks. The clock is ticking on this man at this moment. I think we can agree on that. The clock is ticking. The drugs only last so long. And you can't waste them kissing random ladies who are wearing white dresses in the crowd. Just don't have time for that. Just looks absolutely confused. People keep touching him. Okay, we got a conflicting theory here. DJ Dowling in our chat has just mentioned that it might be that he's waiting for the drugs to actually kick in. That's a real possibility too. I guess we could say that they couldn't get the effect that they were looking for. I imagine that they check his blood pressure and they're doing a heart rate scan. There are 5 people that are designated clappers, just like the designated survivors that are set aside so that the continuity of government will continue. There's like 13 people that are required to be clapping at all times in the room, and they're doing that right now. Chuck Schumer would really like people to recognize that he's there. This guy reaching across. I don't know who that is. I should probably recognize some of these faces. This is the Super Bowl for the Hollywood for ugly people, which is what we always say politics is. Hollywood for ugly people. Man. He's going to do selfies. Perfect. Now he's giving that guy his phone back. That guy doesn't know what to do with it. Not a good start. I'm already bored of the clapping, so I'm going to come back and see what we got. Mark, are we still singing?
Yes, we're still singing. We are still on the slow song section of this record.
They haven't moved on to the new track, have they?
No. Where I was a fan of the change probably 20 minutes ago,
You're worn out now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm ready for free Palestine.
All right, there's Joe Manchin telling him, hey man, you came here to do the speech. Did you know that? I know you used to listen to it because you used to be in the Senate, but now it's your turn to go up and talk. It's very exciting for you. And he was like, yeah, who's going to talk? I'm gonna drop it down. Let's take it. Okay, now we're going to step up the energy again, looks like.
All right, you all, here's some news for you. C-SPAN just said that protests have delayed the president's departure and arrival.
Oh, wow. C-SPAN said that they're delayed because of this. I doubt it.
Credit. They're taking credit.
Listen, that's what terrorists do, man. Terrorists take credit. And you know we're right about that.
I know we said we were going to disperse, but here we are. And here we are with the state.
Oh man, they were gonna disperse, but now they're energized.
Yeah, so let's do some beautiful singing.
Let's do some jumping jacks. I think something to warm up everybody would be good right now.
Let's have our voices be heard. Get
What do you think?
comfortable. Get seated.
Right, well,
I feel like it's actually degrading from our previous rating down to, like, it's down to Canada now.
Yes.
Right.
We can put this down to Canada.
Are you comfortable with the Canada?
Yes, we can adjust it down to Canada.
Okay, we've taken it down to Canada. Okay, so the riot meter is down to Canada.
But they're handing the mic off to some men, so perhaps they bring it back up.
All right.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, their rhythm is not great. Joe Biden is still wandering around confused, folks. Don't worry, I'm watching the screen. He hasn't even made it off the main part of the floor yet. We got some concern that we're giving these people a platform. Mark, are you concerned that we are upping the support for this guy with his haircut?
That's funny. I laugh at that because what we do is we report what happens.
That's right. Not what we want to happen. It's just whatever happens.
Right. So that's fine. That's fine. I'm not offended. In fact, for me, it's kind of comical.
All right, let me throw Joe Biden up. There's Joe Biden, guys. You can see he hasn't gone anywhere.
So I'm looking at my phone and I just saw your page, Kyle, and I see the riot meter, and it looks great.
Have you not seen the riot meter in effect?
I've never seen it in action.
Yeah. Well,
so
it's kind of bottomed out. Okay, looks like we might have the guy up there, so I'm going to kill your audio. We're going to take it down a notch, and let's see where we go. Okay. Let's go back. Yeah, I'm probably premature on that, to be fair. I'm guessing they're not actually ready to do anything. I'd like for them to do something. I'd like Joe Biden to step up and start having some words, but, he's the boss. There it is. He still hasn't made it. There's Mike Johnson. And we're having another photo op. These people literally live and work right next to each other. As you guys probably guess, they are all in the same city every day. So, good thing they're taking this moment to be 26, 27 minutes late for a nationally scheduled event that is required by law. Holy moly. And they don't know how to mix audio there either. All right, he's found. Submitting his thing to Kamala. Kamala shakes with the wrong hand. Saluting nobody. It's amazing. All right, let's open this thing up. So incredibly for me, if they delayed this speech, that seems like an obstruction of an official proceeding. You guys are correct in the chat there. It seems like they would be accountable and should be facing charges. That's the rule for that insurgency. He's looking for Jill. Okay.
Good evening. Good evening.
A lot of chatting. All right, here we go.
If I were smart, I go home now.
Somebody said go home now.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Vice President, members of Congress, my fellow Americans, in January 1941, Franklin Roosevelt came to this chamber to speak to the nation. And he said, I address you at a moment unprecedented in the history of the Union. Hitler was on the march. War was raging in Europe. President Roosevelt's purpose was to wake up Congress and alert the American people that this was no ordinary time. Freedom and democracy were under assault in the world. Tonight, I come to this same chamber to address the nation. Now, it's we who face an unprecedented moment in the history of the Union. And yes, my purpose tonight is to wake up the Congress and alert the American people that this is no ordinary moment either. Not since President Lincoln and the Civil War have freedom and democracy been under assault at home as they are today. What makes our moment rare is that freedom and democracy are under attack both at home and overseas at the very same time. Overseas, Putin of Russia is on the march, invading Ukraine and sowing chaos throughout Europe and beyond. If anybody in this room thinks Putin will stop at Ukraine, I assure you he will not. But Ukraine can stop Putin. Ukraine can stop Putin if we stand with Ukraine and provide the weapons that needs to defend itself. That is all. That is all Ukraine is asking. They're not asking for American soldiers. In fact, there are no American soldiers at war in Ukraine, and I'm determined to keep it that way. But now, assistance to Ukraine is being blocked by those who want to walk away from our world leadership. It wasn't long ago when a Republican president named Ronald Reagan thundered, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." Now, my predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, "Do whatever the hell you want." That's a quote. A former president actually said that, bowing down to a Russian leader. I think it's outrageous, it's dangerous, and it's unacceptable. is a founding member of NATO, the military alliance of democratic nations created after World War II to prevent war and keep the peace. And today, we've made NATO stronger than ever. We welcomed Finland to the alliance last year. And just this morning, Sweden officially joined, and their minister is here tonight. We're going to stand up. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And they know how to fight. Mr. Prime Minister, welcome to NATO, the strongest military alliance the world has ever seen. I say this to Congress, we have to stand up to Putin. Send me a bipartisan national security bill. History is literally watching. History is watching. If the United States walks away, it will put Ukraine at risk. Europe is at risk. The free world will be at risk, emboldening others to do what they wish to do us harm. My message to President Putin, who I've known for a long time, is simple. We will not walk away. We will not bow down. I will not bow down. In a literal sense, history is watching. History is watching. Just like history watched 3 years ago on January 6th, when insurrectionists stormed this very Capitol and placed a dagger to the throat of American democracy. Many of you are here on that darkest of days. We all saw with our own eyes the insurrectionists were not patriots. They'd come to stop the peaceful transfer of power, to overturn the will of the people. January 6th lies about the 2020 election and the plots to steal the election posed a great, gravest threat to U.S. democracy since the Civil War. But they failed. America stood. America stood strong, and democracy prevailed. We must be honest. The threat to democracy must be defended. My predecessor and some of you here seek to bury the truth about January 6th. I will not do that. This is the moment to speak the truth and to bury the lies. Here's the simple truth. You can't love your country only when you win. As I've done ever since being elected to office, I ask all of you, without regard to party, to join together and defend democracy. Remember your oath of office to defend against all threats, foreign and domestic. Respect free and fair elections, restore trust in our institutions, and make clear political violence has absolutely no place in America, zero place. Again, it's not hyperbole to suggest history is watching. We're watching. Your children and grandchildren will read about this day and what we do. History is watching another assault on freedom. Joining us tonight is Latoya Beasley, a social worker from Birmingham, Alabama. 14 months ago, she and her husband welcomed a baby girl thanks to the miracle of IVF. She scheduled treatments to have that second child, but the Alabama Supreme Court shut down IVF treatments across the state, unleashed by a Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. She was told her dream would have to wait. What her family had got through should never have happened. Unless Congress acts, it could happen again. So tonight, let's stand up for families like hers. To my friends across the aisle, don't keep this waiting any longer. Guarantee the right to AVF. Guarantee it nationwide. Like most Americans, I believe Roe v. Wade got it right. I thank Vice President Harris for being an incredible leader, defending reproductive freedom, and so much more. Thank you. My predecessor came to office determined to see Roe v. Wade overturned. He's the reason it was overturned, and he brags about it. Look at the chaos that has resulted. Joining us tonight is Kate Cox, the wife and mother from Dallas. She's become pregnant again and had a fetus of a fatal condition. Her doctor told Kate that her own life and her ability to have children in the future were at risk if she didn't act. Because Texas law banned her ability to act, Kate and her husband had to leave the state to get what she needed. What her family got through should have never happened as well, but it's happening in too many others. There are state laws banning the freedom to choose, criminalizing doctors, forcing survivors of rape and incest to leave their states to get the treatment they need. Many of you in this chamber and my predecessor are promising to pass a national ban on reproductive freedom. My God, what freedom else would you take away? Look, it's a decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court majority wrote the following, and with all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power. Electoral or political power. You're about to realize just how much you were right about that. Clearly, those bragging about overturning Roe v. Wade have no clue about the power of women. But they found out when reproductive freedom was on the ballot. We won in 2022 and 2020, and we'll win again in 2024. If you, the American people, send me a Congress that supports the right to choose, I promise you, I'll restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land again. Folks, America cannot go back. I'm here tonight to show what I believe is the way forward, because I know how far we come. 4 years ago next week, before I came to office, the country was hit by the worst pandemic and the worst economic crisis in a century. Remember the fear, record losses. Remember the spikes in crime and the murder rate, raging virus that took more than 1 million American lives, of loved ones, millions left behind. A mental health crisis of isolation and loneliness. A president, my predecessor, failed the most basic presidential duty that he owes to American people, the duty to care. I think that's unforgivable. I came to office determined to get us through one of the toughest periods in the nation's history. We have. It doesn't make news, but in 1,000 cities and towns, the American people are writing the greatest comeback story never told. So let's tell the story here. Tell it here and now. America's comeback is building the future of American possibilities, building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down, investing in all America, in all Americans, to make sure everyone has a fair shot, and we leave no one behind. The pandemic no longer controls our lives. The vaccines that saved us from COVID are now being used to beat cancer, turning setback into comeback. That's what America does. That's what America does. Folks, my inherited economy is on the brink. Now our economy is literally the envy of the world. 15 million new jobs in just 3 years, a record, a record. at 50-year lows. A record 16 million Americans are starting small businesses, and each one is a literal act of hope. With historic job growth and small business growth for Black and Hispanics and Asian Americans, 800,000 new manufacturing jobs in America and counting. Where is it written we can't be the manufacturing capital of the world? We are, and we will. More people have health insurance today. More people have health insurance today than ever before. The racial wealth gap is as small as it's been in 20 years. Wages keep going up, inflation keeps coming down. Inflation has dropped from 9% to 3%, the lowest in the world and tending lower. The landing is and will be soft. And now, instead of importing foreign products and exporting American jobs, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Right here in America, where they belong. And it takes time, but the American people are beginning to feel it. Consumer studies show consumer confidence is soaring. Buy America has been the law of the land since the 1930s. Past administrations, including my predecessor, including some Democrats as well in the past, failed to buy American. Not anymore. On my watch, federal projects that you fund, like helping build American roads, bridges, and highways, will be made with American products and built by American workers. Creating good-paying American jobs. And thanks to our CHIPS and Science Act, the United States is investing more in research and development than ever before. During the pandemic, a shortage of semiconductors, chips, that drove up the price of everything from cell phones to automobiles. And by the way, we invented those chips right here in America. Well, instead of having to import them, private companies are now investing billions of dollars to build new chip factories here in America, creating tens of thousands of jobs. Many of those jobs paying $100,000 a year and don't require a college degree. In fact, my policies have attracted $650 billion in private sector investment in clean energy, advanced manufacturing, creating tens of thousands of jobs here in America. And thanks to our bipartisan infrastructure law, 46,000 new projects have been announced all across your communities. And by the way, I noticed some of you strongly voted against it, or they're cheering on that money coming in. I like it. I'm with you. I'm with you. And if any of you don't want that money in your district, just let me know. Modernizing our roads and systems. Removing poisonous lead pipes so every child can drink clean water without risk of brain damage. Providing affordable high-speed internet for every American, no matter where you live, urban, suburban, or rural communities, in red states and blue states. Record investments in tribal communities. Because of my investment in family farms, because I invested in family farms led by my Secretary of Agriculture, who knows more about this than anybody I know, we're better able to stay in the family for those farms and their children and grandchildren won't have to leave home to make a living. It's transformative. The great comeback story is Belvedere, Illinois, home to an auto plant for nearly 60 years. Before I came to office, the plant was on its way to shutting down. Thousands of workers feared for their livelihoods. Hope was fading. Then I was elected to office, and we raised the Belvedere repeatedly with auto companies, knowing unions would make all the difference. The UAW worked like hell to keep the plant open and get these jobs back, and together we succeeded. Instead of auto factories shutting down, auto factories reopening, a new state-of-the-art battery factories being built to power those cars there at the same. The folks of Belvedere, I say, instead of your town being left behind, your community is moving forward again. Because instead of watching auto jobs of the future go overseas, 4,000 union jobs with higher wages are building the future in Belvedere right here in America. Here tonight is UAW President Shawn Fain, a great friend and a great labor leader. Shawn, where are you? Stand up. And Dawn Sims, a third-generation worker, UAW worker at Belvedere. Shawn, I was proud to be the first president to stand on the picket line, and today, Dawn has a good job in her hometown, providing stability for her family and pride and dignity as well. Showing once again, Wall Street didn't build America. They're not bad guys. They didn't build it, though. The middle class built the country, and unions built the middle class. I say to the American people, when America gets knocked down, we get back up. We keep going. That's America. That's you, the American people. It's because of you America's coming back. It's because of you our future is brighter. It's because of you that tonight we can proudly say the state of our union is strong and getting stronger. Tonight, I want to talk about the future of possibilities that we can build together. A future where the days of trickle-down economics are over and the wealthy and the biggest corporations no longer get all the tax breaks. And by the way, I understand corporations. I come from a state that has more corporations invested than every one of your states in the United States combined. And I represented it for 36 years. I'm not anti-corporation, but I grew up in a home where trickle-down economics didn't put much on my dad's kitchen table. That's why I determined to turn things around so middle class does well. When they do well, the poor go way up and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well. And there's more to do to make sure you're feeling the benefits of all we're doing. Americans pay more for prescription drugs than anywhere in the world. It's wrong, and I'm ending it. With a law that I proposed and signed, not one of you Republican buddies voted for it. We finally beat Big Pharma. Instead of paying $400 a month or thereabouts for insulin with diabetes, and it only costs $10 to make, they only get paid $35 a month now and still make a healthy profit. And I want to, but what to do next? I want to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for every American who needs it. Everyone. For years, people have talked about it, but finally we got it done and gave Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices on prescription drugs, just like the VA is able to do for veterans. That's not just saving seniors money, it's saving taxpayers money. We cut the federal deficit by $160 billion. Because Medicare will no longer have to pay those exorbitant prices to Big Pharma. This year, Medicare is negotiating lower prices for some of the costliest drugs on the market, to treat everything from heart disease to arthritis. It's now time to go further and give Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices for 500 different drugs over the next decade. They're making a lot of money, guys. And they'll still be extremely profitable. Will not only save lives, it will save taxpayers another $200 billion. Starting next year, the same law caps total prescription drug costs for seniors on Medicare at $2,000 a year, even for expensive cancer drugs that cost $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. Now I want to cap prescription drug costs at $2,000 a year for everyone. Folks, I'm going to get in trouble for saying that, but if you want to get in Air Force One and fly to Toronto, Berlin, Moscow, well, even Moscow, probably. And bring your prescription with you, and I promise you I'll get it for you for 40% the cost you're paying now. Same company, same drug, same place. Folks, the Affordable Care Act, the old Obamacare, it's still a very big deal. Over 100 million of you can no longer be denied health insurance because of pre-existing condition. Well, my predecessor and many in this chamber want to take this prescription drug away by repealing the Affordable Care Act. I'm not going to let that happen. We stopped you 50 times before and we'll stop you again. In fact, I'm not only protecting it, I'm expanding it. The enacted tax credits of $800 per person per year reduce health care costs for millions of working families. That tax credit expires next year. I want to make that savings permanent. To state the obvious, women are more than half our population. But research on women's health has always been underfunded. That's why we're launching the first ever White House initiative on women's health research, led by Jill, doing an incredible job as First Lady. So pass my plan for $12 billion to transfer women's health research and benefit millions of lives all across America. I know the cost of housing is so important to you. If inflation keeps coming down, mortgage rates will come down as well, and the Fed acknowledges that. But I'm not waiting. I want to provide an annual tax credit that will give Americans $400 a month for the next 2 years as mortgage rates come down, to put toward their mortgages when they buy their first home or trade up for a little more space. Just for 2 years. And my administration is also eliminating title insurance on federally backed mortgages. When you refinance your home, you can save $1,000 or more as a consequence. For millions of renters, we're cracking down on big landlords who use antitrust law, who break antitrust laws by price fixing and driving up rents. We've cut red tape so builders can get federally financing, which is already helping build a record 1.7 million new housing units nationwide. Now pass and build and renovate 2 million affordable homes and bring those rents down. To remain the strongest economy in the world, we need to have the best education system in the world. And I, like I suspect all of you, want to give a child, every child, a good start by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old. You know, I think I pointed out last year that children coming from broken homes where there's no books, they're not read to, not spoken to very often, start school, kindergarten or first grade, having heard 1 million fewer words spoken. Well, studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school, go on to earn a 2- and 4-year degree, no matter what their background is. I met a year and a half ago with the leaders of the Business Roundtable. They were mad that they were angry, I think, well, they were discussing why I wanted to spend money on education. I pointed out to them, as vice president, I met with over 182 of those folks. Don't hold me to the exact number. And I asked them what they need most, the CEOs. And you've had the same experience on both sides of the aisle. They say a better educated workforce, right? So I looked at them, and I say, I come from Delaware. DuPont used to be the 8th largest corporation in the world. And every new enterprise they bought, they educated the workforce to that enterprise. But none of you do that anymore. Why are you angry with me providing you the opportunity for the best educated workforce in the world? And they all looked at me and said, I think you're right. I want to expand high-quality tutoring and summer learning to see that every child learns to read by 3rd grade. I'm also connecting local businesses and high schools so students get hands-on experience and a path to a good-paying job, whether or not they go to college. And I want to make sure the college is more affordable. Let's continue increasing the Pell Grants to working and middle-class families and increase record investments in HBCUs and minority-serving institutions, including Hispanic institutions. When I was told I couldn't universally just change the way in which we dealt with student loans, I fixed 2 student loan programs that already existed to reduce the burden of student debt for nearly 4 million Americans, including nurses, firefighters, and others in public service. Like Keenan Jones, a public educator from Minnesota, who's here with us tonight. Keenan, where are you? Keenan, thank you. He's educated hundreds of students so they can go to college. Now he's able to help, after debt forgiveness, get his own daughter to college. And folks, look, such relief is good for the economy because folks are now able to buy a home, start a business, start a family. While we're at it, I want to give public school teachers a raise. And by the way, the first couple of years, we cut the deficit. Now, let me speak to the question of fundamental fairness for all Americans. I've been delivering real results in fiscally responsible ways. We've already cut the federal deficit. We've already cut the federal deficit over $1 trillion. I signed the bipartisan deal to cut another $1 trillion in the next decade. It's my goal to cut the federal deficit another $3 trillion by making big corporations and very wealthy finally beginning to pay their fair share. Look, I'm a capitalist. If you want to make or can make $1 million or millions of bucks, that's great. Just pay your fair share in taxes. A fair tax code is how we invest things to make this country great. Healthcare, education, defense, and so much more. But here's the deal. the last administration enacted a $2 trillion tax cut, overwhelmingly benefit the top 1%, the very wealthy and the biggest corporations, and exploded the federal deficit. They added more to the national debt than any presidential term in American history. Check the numbers. Folks at home, does anybody really think the tax code is fair? Do you really think the wealthy and big corporations need another $2 trillion tax break? I sure don't. I'm going to keep fighting like hell to make it fair. Under my plan, nobody earning less than $400,000 a year will pay an additional penny in federal taxes. Nobody, not one penny. And they haven't yet. In fact, the child tax credit I passed during the pandemic cut taxes for millions of working families and cut child poverty in half. Restore that child tax credit. No child should go hungry in this country. The way to make the tax code fair is to make big corporations and the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Remember in 2020, 55 of the biggest companies in America made $40 billion and paid zero in federal income tax. Zero. Not anymore. Thanks to the law I wrote and we signed, big companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. But that's still less than working people pay in federal taxes. It's time to raise corporate minimum tax to at least 21%. So every big corporation finally begins to pay their fair share. I also want to end tax breaks for big pharma, big oil, private jets, massive executive pay when it's only supposed to be $1 million that could be deducted. They can pay them $20 million if they want, but deduct $1 million. End it now. You know, there are 1,000 billionaires in America. You know what the average federal tax is for those billionaires? No. They're making great sacrifices, 8.2%. That's far less than the vast majority of Americans pay. No billionaire should pay a lower federal tax rate than a teacher, a sanitation worker, or a nurse. I propose a minimum tax for billionaires of 25%, just 25%. You know what that would raise? That would raise $500 billion over the next 10 years. And imagine what that could do for America. Imagine a future with affordable child care. Millions of families can get they need to go to work to help grow the economy. Imagine a future with paid leave, because no one should have to choose between working and taking care of their sick family member. Imagine the future of home care and elder care, and people living with disabilities so they can stay in their homes and family caregivers can finally get the pay they deserve. Tonight, let's all agree once again to stand up for seniors. Many of my friends on the other side of the aisle want to put Social Security on the chopping block. If anyone here tries to cut Social Security or Medicare or raise the retirement age, I will stop you. The working people who built this country pay more into Social Security than millionaires and billionaires do. It's not fair. We have two ways to go. Republicans can cut Social Security and give more tax breaks to the wealthy. That's the proposal. Oh no, you guys don't want another $2 trillion tax cut? I kind of thought that's what your plan was. Well, that's good to hear. You're not going to cut another $2 trillion for the super wealthy. That's good to hear. I'll protect and strengthen Social Security and make the wealthy pay their fair share. Look, too many corporations raise prices to pad their profits, charging more and more for less and less. That's why we're cracking down on corporations that engage in price gouging and deceptive pricing. from food to health care to housing. In fact, the snack companies think you won't notice if they change the size of the bag and put a hell of a lot fewer, same size bag, put fewer chips in it. No, I'm not joking. It's called shrinkflation. Pass Bobby Casey's bill and stop this. I really mean it. You probably all saw that commercial on Snickers bars. You get charged the same amount, and you got about, I don't know, 10% fewer Snickers in it. Look, I'm also getting rid of junk fees. Those hidden fees at the end of your bill that are there without your knowledge. My administration announced we're cutting credit card late fees from $32 to $8. Banks and credit card companies are allowed to charge what it costs them to instigate the collection. And that's more a hell of a lot like $8 and 30-some dollars. They don't like it. The credit card companies don't like it. But I'm saving American families $20 billion a year with all the junk fees I'm eliminating. Folks at home, that's why the banks are so mad. It's $20 billion in profit. I'm not stopping there. My administration has proposed rules to make cable, travel, utilities, and online ticket sellers tell you the total price up front so there are no surprises. It matters. It matters. And so does this. In November, my team began serious negotiation with a bipartisan group of senators. The result was a bipartisan bill with the toughest set of border security reforms we've ever seen. Oh, you don't think so? Oh, you don't like that bill, huh? That conservatives got together and said it was a good bill? I'll be darned. That's amazing. That bipartisan bill would hire 1,500 more security agents and officers, 100 more immigration judges to help tackle the backload of 2 million cases, 4,300 more asylum officers, and new policies so they can resolve cases in 6 months instead of 6 years now. What are you against? 100 more high-tech drug detection machines to significantly increase the ability to screen and stop vehicles smuggling fentanyl into America. That's killing thousands of children. This bill would save lives and bring order to the border. It will also give me and any new president new emergency authority to temporarily shut down the border when the number of migrants at the border is overwhelming. The Border Patrol Union has endorsed this bill. The Federal Chamber of Commerce is, yeah. You're saying low. Look at the facts. I know you know how to read. I believe that given the opportunity for a majority in the House and Senate would endorse the bill as well, a majority right now. But unfortunately, politics has derailed this bill so far. I'm told my predecessor called members of Congress in the Senate to demand they block the bill. He feels political win, he viewed it as a political win for me and a political loser for him. It's not about him, it's not about me. I'd be a winner, not really. Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right. But how many of the thousands of people being killed by illegals? To her parents, I say, my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand. But look, if we change the dynamic at the border, people pay these smugglers $8,000 to get across the border because they know if they get by, if they get by and let into the country, it's 6 to 8 years before they have a hearing. And it's worth taking the chance of the $8,000. But if it's only 6 weeks, the idea is it's highly unlikely that people will pay that money and come all that way knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly. Folks, I would respectfully suggest my Republican friends owe it to the American people, get this bill done. We need to act now. And if my predecessor is watching, instead of paying politics and pressuring members of Congress to block the bill, join me in telling the Congress to pass it. We can do it together, but that's what here's what he will not do. I will not demonize immigrants saying they are poison in the blood of our country. I will not separate families. I will not ban people because of their faith. Unlike my predecessor on my first day in office, I introduced a comprehensive bill to fix our immigration system. Take a look at it. It has all these and more. Secure the border. Provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, and so much more. But unlike my predecessor, I know who we are as Americans. We're the only nation in the world with a heart and soul that draws from old and new. Home to Native Americans, whose ancestors have been here for thousands of years. Home to people of from every place on earth. They came freely. Some came in chains. Some came when famine struck, like my ancestral family in Ireland. Some to flee persecution, to chase dreams that are impossible anywhere but here in America. That's America. And we all come from somewhere, but we're all Americans. Look, folks, we have a simple choice. We can fight about fixing the border, or we can fix it. I'm ready to fix it. Send me the border bill now. A transformational moment in history happened 59 years ago today in Selma, Alabama. Hundreds of foot soldiers for justice marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, named after the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, to claim their fundamental right to vote. They were beaten, they were bloody, and left for dead. Our late friend and former colleague, John Lewis, was on that march. We miss him. But joining us tonight are other marchers, both in the gallery and on the floor, including Betty Mae Fikes, known as the voice of Selma. The daughter of gospel singers and preachers, she sang songs of prayer and protest on that bloody Sunday to help shake the nation's conscience. 5 months later, the Voting Rights Act passed and was signed into law. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But 59 years later, there are forces taking us back in time. Voter suppression, election subversion, unlimited dark money, extreme gerrymandering. John Lewis was a great friend to many of us here. But if you truly want to honor him and all the heroes who marched with him, then it's time to do more than talk. Pass the Freedom to Vote Act, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. And stop Stop denying another core value of America, our diversity across American life. Banning books, it's wrong. Instead of erasing history, let's make history. I want to protect fundamental rights. Pass the Equality Act. And my message to transgender Americans, I have your back. Pass the PRO Act for workers' rights. Raise the federal minimum wage, because every worker has a right to a decent living more than $7 an hour. We're also making history by confronting the climate crisis, not denying it. I don't think any of you think there's no longer a climate crisis. At least I hope you don't. I'm taking the most significant action ever on climate in the history of the world. I'm cutting our carbon emissions in half by 2030, creating tens of thousands of clean energy jobs, like the IBEW work is building and installing 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations. Conserving 30% of America's lands and waters by 2030. And taking action on environmental justice, fence-line communities smothered by the legacy of pollution. And patterned after the Peace Corps and AmeriCorps, I launched the Climate Corps to put 20,000 young people to work in the forefront of our clean energy future. I'll triple that number in a decade. To state the obvious, all Americans deserve the freedom to be safe. And America is safer today than when I took office. Year before I took office, murder rates went up 30%. 30% they went up. The biggest increase in history. It was then, through my American Rescue Plan, which every American voted against, I might add, we made the largest investment in public safety ever. Last year, the murder rate saw the sharpest decrease in history. Violent crime fell to one of its lowest levels in more than 50 years. But we have more to do. We have to help cities invest in more community police officers, more mental health workers, more community violence intervention. Give communities the tool to crack down on gun crime, retail crime, and carjacking. Keep building trust, as I've been doing by taking executive action on police reform and calling for it to be the law of the land. Directing my cabinet to review the federal classification of marijuana and expunging thousands of convictions for the mere possession, because no one should be jailed for simply using or having it on their record. Take on crimes of domestic violence. I'm ramping up the federal enforcement of the Violence Against Women Act that I proudly wrote when I was a senator, so we can finally end the scourge against women in America. There are other kinds of violence I want to stop. With us tonight is Jasmine, whose 9-year-old sister Jackie was murdered with 21 classmates and teachers in an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas. Very soon after that happened, Jill and I went to Uvalde for a couple of days. We spent hours and hours with each of the families. We heard their message, so everyone in this room, in this chamber, could hear the same message. The constant refrain, and I was there for hours meeting with every family. They said, do something. Do something. Well, I did do something by establishing the first ever Office of Gun Violence Prevention in the White House, that the Vice President is leading the charge. Thank you for doing it. Meanwhile, my predecessor told the NRA he's proud he did nothing on guns when he was president. Oh. After another shooting in Iowa recently, he said, when asked what to do about it, he said, just get over it. There was his quote, just get over it. I say, stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. I'm proud we beat the NRA when I signed the most significant gun safety law in nearly 30 years because of this Congress. We now must beat the NRA again. I'm demanding a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. Pass universal background checks. None of this. I taught the Second Amendment for 12 years. None of this violates the Second Amendment or vilifies responsible gun owners. You know, as we manage challenges at home, we're also managing crises abroad, including in the Middle East. I know the last 5 months have been gut-wrenching for so many people, for the Israeli people, for the Palestinian people, and so many here in America. This crisis began on October 7th with a massacre by a terrorist group called Hamas, as you all know. 1,200 innocent people, women and girls, men and boys, slaughtered after enduring sexual violence. The deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust, and 250 hostages taken. Here in this chamber tonight are families whose loved ones are still being held by Hamas. I pledge to all the families that we will not rest until we bring every one of your loved ones home. We also we will also work around the clock to bring home Evan and Paul, Americans being unjustly detained by the Russians and others around the world. Israel has the right to go after Hamas. Hamas ended this conflict by releasing hostages, laying down arms, could end it by releasing the hostages, laying down arms, and surrendering those responsible for October 7th. But Israel has Israel has an added burden because Hamas hides and operates among the civilian population like cowards, under hospitals, daycare centers, and all the like. Israel also has a fundamental responsibility, though, to protect innocent civilians in Gaza. This war has taken a greater toll on innocent civilians than all previous wars in Gaza combined. More than 30,000 Palestinians have been killed, most of whom are not Hamas. Thousands and thousands of innocents, women and children, girls and boys, also orphaned. Nearly 2 million more Palestinians under bombardment or displacement. Homes destroyed, neighborhoods in rubble, cities in ruin. Families without food, water, medicine. It's heartbreaking. I've been working nonstop to establish an immediate ceasefire that would last for 6 weeks to get all the prisoners released, all the hostages released, to get the hostages home and ease the intolerable and humanitarian crisis and build toward an enduring, something more enduring. The United States has been leading international efforts to get more humanitarian assistance to Gaza. Tonight, I'm directing the U.S. military to lead an emergency mission to establish a temporary pier in the Mediterranean on the coast of Gaza that can receive large shipments carrying food, water, medicine, and temporary shelters. No U.S. boots will be on the ground. A temporary pier will enable a massive increase in the amount of humanitarian assistance getting into Gaza every day. And Israel must do its part. Israel must allow more aid into Gaza to ensure humanitarian workers aren't caught in the crossfire. And they're announcing they're going to have a crossing in northern Gaza. For the leadership of Israel, I say this: humanitarian assistance cannot be a secondary consideration or a bargaining chip. Protecting and saving innocent lives has to be a priority. As we look to the future, the only real solution to the situation is a two-state solution over time. And I say this, As a lifelong supporter of Israel, my entire career, no one has a stronger record with Israel than I do. I challenge any of you here. I'm the only American president of Israel in wartime, but there is no other path that guarantees Israel's security and democracy. There is no other path that guarantees Palestinians can live in peace with peace and dignity. And there's no other path that guarantees peace between Israel and all of its neighbors, including Saudi Arabia, with whom I'm talking. Creating stability in the Middle East also means containing the threat posed by Iran. That's why I built a coalition of more than a dozen countries to defend international shipping and freedom of navigation in the Red Sea. I've ordered strikes to degrade the Houthi capability and defend U.S. forces in the region. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not hesitate to direct further measures to protect our people and our military personnel. For years, I've heard many of my Republican and Democratic friends say that China is on the rise and America is falling behind. They've got it backwards. I've been saying it for over 4 years, even when I wasn't president. America's rising. We have the best economy in the world. And since I've come to office, our GDP is up, our trade deficit with China is down to the lowest point in over a decade. And we're standing up against China's unfair economic practices. We're standing up for peace and stability across the Taiwan Straits. I've revitalized our partnership and alliance in the Pacific. India, Australia, Japan, South Korea, the Pacific Islands. I've made sure that the most advanced American technologies can't be used in China, not allowing to trade them there. Frankly, for all this tough talk on China, it never occurred to my predecessor to do any of that. I want competition with China, not conflict. And we're in a stronger position to win the conflict of the 21st century against China than anyone else, for that matter, than any time as well. Here at home, I've signed over 400 bipartisan bills. But there's more to pass my unity agenda. Strengthen penalties on fentanyl trafficking. You don't want to do that, huh? Pass bipartisan privacy legislation to protect our children online. Harness the promise of AI to protect us from peril. Ban AI voice impersonations and more. And keep our truly sacred obligation to train and equip those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home and when they don't. That's why, with the song support and help of Dennis and the VA, I signed the PACT Act. One of the most significant laws ever, helping millions of veterans exposed to toxins who now are battling more than 100 different cancers. Many of them don't come home, but we owe them and their families support. We owe it to ourselves to keep supporting our new health research agency called ARPA-H. And remind us that we can do big things, like end cancer as we know it, and we will. Let me close with this. Yay! I know you don't want to hear any more, Lindsay, but I got to say a few more things. I know it may not look like it, but I've been around a while. When you get to be my age, certain things become clearer than ever. I know the American story. Again and again, I've seen the contest between competing forces in the battle for the soul of our nation. Between those who want to pull America back to the past and those who want to move America into the future. My lifetime has taught me to embrace freedom and democracy, a future based on core values that have defined America: honesty, decency, dignity, equality, to respect everyone, to give everyone a fair shot, to give hate no safe harbor. Now, other people my age see it differently. The American story of resentment, revenge, and retribution, that's not me. I was born amid World War II when America stood for the freedom of the world. I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claymont, Delaware, among working class people who built this country. I watched in horror as two of my heroes, like many of you did, Dr. King and Bobby Kennedy, were assassinated. And their legacies inspired me to pursue a career in service. I left the law firm and became a public defender because my city of Wilmington was the only city in America occupied by the National Guard after Dr. King was assassinated because of the riots. And I became a county councilman almost by accident. I got elected to the United States Senate when I had no intention of running at age 29. Then vice president to our first black president. Now president to the first women vice president. In my career, I've been told I was too young. By the way, they didn't let me on the Senate elevators for votes sometimes. Not a joke. And I've been told I'm too old. Whether young or old, I've always known what endures. I've known our North Star. The very idea of America is that we're all created equal and deserve to be treated equally throughout our lives. We've never fully lived up to that idea, but we've never walked away from it either. And I won't walk away from it now. I'm optimistic. I really am. I'm optimistic, Nancy. My fellow Americans, the issue facing our nation isn't how old we are, it's how old are our ideas. Hate, anger, revenge, retribution are the oldest of ideas. But you can't lead America with ancient ideas that only take us back. You lead America, the land of possibilities. You need a vision for the future and what can and should be done. Tonight you've heard mine. I see a future where defending democracy, you don't diminish it. I see a future where we restore the right to choose and protect our freedoms, not take them away. I see a future where the middle class finally has a fair shot and the wealthy have to pay their fair share in taxes. I see a future where we save the planet from the climate crisis and our country from gun violence. Above all, I see a future for all Americans. I see a country for all Americans. And I will always be president for all Americans because I believe in America. I believe in you, the American people. You're the reason we've never been more optimistic about our future than I am now. So let's build the future together. Let's remember who we are. We are the United States of America. And there is nothing beyond our capacity when we act together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, man, folks, that was painful, wasn't it? That hurt. That was not that fun. And I'm guessing that old man didn't have that much fun either. So let me go ahead and drop Joe off of me. And Mark Naughton, you're live on the street, still in D.C. You gave everybody a little walking tour of Washington. Can you hear us okay?
Yes. In fact, I just saw a great view, so...
Well,
there we go.
I just heard several ladies in the chat say that you're so cute, so you got that going for you, buddy.
Oh, okay.
Well, flex it out real good. Give me a little bit of a wrap up here. What was we didn't get above a British parliamentary riot. We didn't have much for violence, but that's good. That's what we want in this country, I would say.
No, that's correct. We call it like we see it. So we got above Canada, and then briefly into British Parliament level protest, and then it came back down. But we don't make it up. We don't add fuel to the fire. We just cover the fire with a camera and some jokes. So that's what happened. The protest, I would say, 300 to 400 at its peak. Just like you saw in Philadelphia, once it's over, poof, it's over, and they break it down and they leave. Just the one interesting thing I saw was the anti-Trump protester, the professional protester that I've seen all over the country. She was here in her uniform of all black with white lettering, this time not wearing anti-Trump, this time all ceasefire, pro-Palestinian uniform, if you will.
I appreciate that. That is a good shot. What is that building behind us? Is that the Trump building?
I believe so. I think
the old postal office or the old post tower.
Right. Yeah. It's a gorgeous building. I remember when we started this live, when we walked by and we said you could tell the difference between sort of old American architecture, which is usually modeled after European works of art, and then these sort of 1970s, 1980s plus buildings that are just disastrous.
I think
giant pieces of.
Yeah, I'm not an architecture guy, but I think it's called brutalist. I think that might be the name, but it's hideous and ugly.
Stings the eyeballs. As they would say, right?
Yeah. I actually used to date a girl who was a graphic designer. She said, "If my eyes could vomit," that's what she would say.
It's a good description.
It is. So thanks for the walking tour there. We're gonna shut this sucker down. And you're going to get something to eat. All the folks, make sure you let them know where the social medias are. I've been doing it in and out, but I'll let it do it in your own words, and you'll give us a little wrap up here. What do you think?
Yes, at Mark Norton 9 on X, also on True Social, same thing. And that's also it's just that simple. That's where you can find me. That's where I will continue to tweet. I'll do Twitter Spaces, more to come. I really like what we're doing here, Kyle. I think if you're gonna listen, and you have to listen, and even if you don't like to listen, the Rumble, guys, go to Rumble because you were able to argue and vent your frustrations to other people.
Yes.
So I think this is where it's at, Kyle.
Yeah. Oh, people are asking if they can pay for your meal. What would that look like? How can people financially contribute to you? This is coming from our Twitter side.
That is wonderful, guys. I appreciate it. It's my Venmo is very easy at Mark Norton 9, same as my ex. So don't get Mark Norton 10, Mark Norton 9. That's
number 9,
me.
also known as Niner, thrown across the the radio. If you want to support Mark financially, you can go use the Venmo app, and you guys can throw a little bit his way. And those of you guys who contributed on the Rumble rants, all that's going to go to Mark as well. We're going to cut him a check for whatever it comes out to at the end of the month. So I'm keeping track of all that, and I appreciate you being on the street, buddy. Go be warm. Watch out for rogue Hamas operatives as they sneak off and slink around in the well-lit city. And safe travels. We'll talk a little bit later.
Thank you, everyone. And thanks, Kyle.
All right, y'all. We're shutting it down. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Kyle Seraphin Show channel, which this is our Ground Truth section. And we're done for the night. We'll see you guys in the morning at 0930. 12 hours from now. Holy moly. No, it's going to be 11 hours from now. We'll be back with the Kyle Seraphin Show.